Okay, well, I'm going to start off here. I'm Lou Nayul. I'm with Virtual Financial. I've been here since 2017, and I've learned a lot about financial literacy during that period of time. But I'm an old dude. I like to say that Ben Franklin was a friend of mine. Or I'm so old the Dead Sea was just a critically injured sea when I was first started out. That's probably a bad joke, but I have seen lots of changes. And I think you can probably agree with that. Who would have guessed 25 years ago that Sears would be gone and Amazon would be the top selling retailer? I mean, Amazon didn't even exist 25 years ago, 30 years ago. Virtual Financial is doing to the insurance industry what Amazon did to Sears. I think that's important. And that's what we want to talk about here today. Our agenda. There's a worldwide problem that we address. This is a global problem. It's financial literacy, but it's also an individual problem. It's a problem both of individuals and of companies and countries. There's a solution to the problem, and there's pretty much a solution for both the individuals and for the country. And we do definitely have a solution for individuals that we think will affect what happens in the countries, and that's our mission. In fact, our mission is very simple. We want to stamp out financial illiteracy so families can dream again. It's kind of sad that too many families have given up on their dreams or they never had dreams. Thinking back when I first started working, I got a credit card and I had to pay that credit card off every month. If I didn't pay it off every month, Vito came to visit me and wanted to know why I didn't pay it off. Now, credit cards pay me to use them. And if I pay them off every month, they get unhappy. They don't want me to pay them off every month. They want that interest. And the challenge is that no one helps the middle-class families plan their finances. If you're really rich, if you're a millionaire, or if you got $5 million, even a couple $1 million, or making $250,000 to $500,000 a year, there's all sorts of financial advisors that'll help you. If you're real poor, you look to the government to help. But there's the middle class, the upper middle class particularly, no one wants to help them. And that's a very, very large segment of the market, probably over 100 million people. That's the market we serve. And it's the biggest problem we're having now is finding people that can help serve that market. Recent study on financial literacy, and this is kind of sad, found only 30% of the people in the world are financially literate. That means two-thirds of in the United States, two-thirds of the people cannot answer two questions. Two-thirds of the people cannot answer five questions correctly about financial literacy. And that's in the United States, where you'd think that people knew better. But over 44% of Americans cannot cover a $400 emergency with cash. Some of them can't even cover with a credit card. 43% of student loan borrowers are not making their payments. And I know a company that started out collecting student loan debt, and the guy became a multi-millionaire when he sold the company off. He sold it off for like $250 million. They were a local company here. People who aren't paying their credit cards off have an average of $9,333 of debt carrying forward. If they just pay the minimums on that, they'll pay $38,000 in interest over 30 years. It takes that long to pay off a credit card if you just make the minimum payments. And too many people, that's all they do is make the minimum payments. Or else they find one credit card that's has zero interest for a while. They transfer everything over to that and hope they can pay that down before the interest starts. And it goes back. When it does start, it goes back and starts all over from day one. And 33% of American adults have zero retirement savings. The days of people retiring on a company pension and Social Security are gone. When I was growing up, that was the plan that everyone had. You go to work for a company, you work there 30 years, 40 years, you retire, and you get a pension, and you got Social Security, and you can live fairly comfortably. Those days do not exist anymore. Hardly anyone has pensions anymore. So what is needed? Number one is families need education on financial literacy so they know how to properly use their money. It's sad people do not know basics about money. I mean, we already saw that, but they need that. It's not being taught in schools. You kind of wonder why it's not being taught. Maybe it's intentionally not being taught. Each family needs an evaluation of their needs so they can create a suitable plan that truly solves their problems. And the third thing is the explanation of why the plan will benefit them now and in the future. I mean, education, evaluation, and explanation is what is needed. Or more specifically, they need a plan that covers wealth protection, wealth accumulation, and wealth distribution. Now, there are a lot of people out there, you find them on the radio or on television or on the internet, they'll help you create a plan they talk only about wealth accumulation, very little about anything else. They talk almost nothing about wealth protection, very little about wealth distribution. But they put everyone in the same boat. They go to the lowest common denominator. Dave Ramsey and Susan Norman are two people that are very, very big on that. But here's the thing: the plan must be suitable for each client. It has to be affordable, it has to be wanted, and it has to solve real problems. And if it doesn't do all those, it's not really a good plan for them. But the real question is, who can create and present this plan? And I put down presentation because I think the presentation is more important than the creation. I can envision, with everything going on in artificial intelligence, that family could go on the internet and fill out a form, and a computer could create a plan for them. But presenting that plan, going into the intricacies of it and how it works, is really critical. And the computer is not going to do that. This is going to give them the numbers, and they have to figure it out for themselves. Presentation is absolutely critical. A new agent cannot create or present this plan. And this is one of the big problems of agent turnover. They go out to sell something, and maybe they'll start just selling one product. And does that product fit anything? Who knows? A lot of times people will say, I need $10,000, I need $100,000 of term insurance. The agent will give them a quote and make the commission on it and go on, not knowing anything else. That really is not doing the thing right. A captive agent is limited to a few products and cannot create an ideal plan. And a captive agent is someone like a State Farm or an Allstate, or one of those that basically have their own products that they have. They're primarily product in PNC, and many of them are PNC agents in the State Farm, and like the Farmers or but even going to New York Life or MetLife or some of those, they're limited to what they have. A seasoned, and I put this seasoned very underlined there purposely, independent agent can have the knowledge and the ability to have all the products to create the perfect plan. Problem is being seasoned and really being ready to learn everything at all times. I heard something very interesting the other day. What do you need to really succeed? And the answer was, you need to never stop learning. And I think there's a lot of truth into that. I mean, I run across people that have been in the same business for 25 years. They don't have 25 years experience. They have 1 year of experience 25 times. And unfortunately, that happens in the insurance industry. And a new agent is typically finding a long uphill battle. And you might be able to relate to this, Ryan, because I know you've been an agent for a while. But let's just talk about a typical new agent. Call him newbie. Newbie decides insurance is a great career. And here's where the problem starts out in the beginning. It's money. A lot of money can be made in the insurance industry. There are 6- and 7-figure earners in the insurance industry, but they didn't get there overnight. It took them a long time to get there, and most of them did not start out looking for money. Newbie talks to a friend who's with XY Life and who brings newbie on board. Newbie studies, obtains a life license, quits his job, and starts working out of XY's Life's office. Newbie is trained by senior. They travel in newbie's car, and one of newbie's friends purchases a policy to help out good old newbie. Newbie's happy, got a commission. Newbie works hard, travels all over, and sells nothing more. Runs into a lot of negative people. Newbie needs a sale, so gets another friend to buy a policy to help out newbie. But newbie is not making any money. He looks to drive an Uber to make ends meet. Newbie talks to friends who say, I told you so, insurance is not for you. Newbie tries hard. Senior tells him to keep on keeping on, and so he keeps on keeping on. Newbie's spouse gets fed up. Newbie decides to look for a job. The friends who purchase the policies realize they don't need the policies. They cancel the policies. Newbie gets a chargeback, and now it was XY money. Everyone loses. Newbie's friends, XY Life, and Senior. And that unfortunately happens to too many people. And you find out the turnover agents among new life agencies, the new agents, is very high. And I will admit that we had that problem until we realized what we were doing wrong. We've solved that. So what's there to do? We're different in several ways. We've solved the agent turnover problem and the financial needs problem. And here's how we do it. We do everything over the internet. I want to stop and tell a story about the Chris Delfino story. Chris Delfino was a very successful agent with Primerica. He operated out of a little town called San Luis Obispo in California. Gorgeous little town. There's a college there, San Luis Obispo, Polytech or Cal Poly. I forget the names. Cal State San Luis Obispo, good school, but it's like 50,000 people, and half of them are college students. He also opened an office up in Fresno, which is up in the Central Valley, and in Sacramento, since he is from the Sacramento area. And he got traveling all over, but he was very successful. In fact, he was one of the top. In fact, he had the top agency in Primerica for a long time because he developed a system. But he got tired of the driving, going from San Luis Obispo up the hill to Fresno, and then up 99 to Sacramento. Got to be a real drag. He said there's got to be a better way, and the internet was just coming into effect at this time. And actually, he actually quit Primerica for some family reasons at home, and did a couple of other things. But then when the internet really came big in 2010, he founded Virtual Financial, being virtual. That's where the name comes, virtual, doing the internet. So we do everything over the internet. But you say, hey, wait, but everyone uses Zoom, don't they? True, everyone does use Zoom, particularly the pandemic, but they still do the same. But that only reduced them driving. They still do everything the same as they always did, and they still have an office and often have to go to the office for meetings. With Virtual Financial, your office is anywhere there's an internet connection. We had a guy working out of Japan for a while. He was stationed. He was there. His wife was stationed there in the Navy, and now he's in Cuba. And we had another person that's right now in Thailand. And again, if there's an internet connection, you can work with us. Big problem if you're in the Eastern time zone, or if you're in the Far East in the time zones. But now that's another problem. You can still get the internet. All our meetings use the internet. You can attend in your pajamas if you wish. We don't do any group meetings except twice a year. We do get together, once in Atlanta and once in Las Vegas, just so we see each other and know we're all real. All our client meetings are on the internet. We don't go to someone's house. And we were doing this 10 years ago. And today, back 30, 40 years ago, that wasn't that big of a deal, because typically, 30, 40 years ago, the family only had one person working, and that was, there was someone at home all the time, so it wasn't a big deal to go into someone's house. But nowadays, it's a big deal to go into someone's house, and people actually prefer to be able to meet over the internet. In your territories, anywhere in North America where there's a cell phone signal. Traditionally, you worked your territory with somebody within a half day's driving, but our territories are anywhere there's a cell phone signal in North America. But a real difference is this: the assembly line. Henry Ford realized that people can do some tasks better than others, and it was easier to train people on a single task. And that was one thing that Chris started doing when we put together Virtual Financial. We have 3 different positions that you can choose from. We have the inviter role. Everyone in Virtual Financial is an inviter, whether they're starting out or whether they've been there forever. Inviter is basically who knows people, meets people, finds out people who are interested in learning more about financial literacy, and then starts to build a team with those people. If the person needs life insurance, we go to a financial professional. A lot of people don't understand what it means to be a financial professional. Financial professional, first off, has to know all the products, and that is not easy. The products that are in existence today weren't existent 30, 40 years ago, and some of them are have a lot of little details in them. It takes a lot of time to really understand these products, who they fit and how they work. And then when an application comes in, the financial professional has to work with the underwriters and the carrier and find out what they need and schedule the medical exams where they're needed and get all the data, put it all together. It's a big job. It's not like buying car insurance where you go to Geico's website and put in a few things about your car, including the VIN number, and you can get a quote back right away. And you can have a credit card. You can you get a policy right that time. Life insurance does not work that way if you're really doing a job for the people. But the key in the element is the manager. The manager is the one that kind of ties the advisor to the financial professional. And incidentally, you're not stuck with one role. You can start out being an advisor, you can become a manager, and then become a financial professional. And there's some people, if they are properly trained, can immediately move to the financial professional role once they understand our system. But the manager is one that ties everything together. But what we really have that makes us different is our CRM. We call it world class. I think that's really maybe a little overstatement. It's a very powerful system. It's used to share cloud stored data. There are no individual databases, and this is important. Everyone needs to work off the same data. All our prospects, and all our clients have just one file, and those people that have access to them have real need to know can get in and see that file. We send marketing emails to prospects, so this CRM is more than just a record keeping system. It's also a marketing system. We schedule our follow-up office, and you have to have a calendar, and we can schedule all our follow-up activities through the CRM. We also use the signed professional appointments. I want to take a minute on this. I said your territory is North America, and say you live in Idaho, or you live in North Dakota, or you live in California, but you have a prospective client in New Jersey. Well, you need someone that's licensed in New Jersey that can actually be the financial professional on that. Now, you can be licensed in New Jersey and handle everything you want yourself, but it's anyway. You can keep track of that person, but if you need to have someone that's actually in New Jersey that's a financial professional, the CRM allows that person to be scheduled. It's an automatic scheduling process. There's a calendar of all events, and calendars are important. And the financial professional and the advisor and the manager can all see the calendars that they're involved with, so you don't actually end up overlapping each other's promotions. And then to track your progress towards your goals, you need to have goals. You set goals, and you have track your progress toward those. It keeps a record of all activities, and record keeping is not trivial. I've been, like I say, I've been involved in the sales field for a long time, longer than I care to admit at times. And keeping track of who you're talking to, and have it written down so you don't have to go back and try to remember it, is absolutely crucial. But the other thing is, leadership is everything and importance. We might have a great system, but are we really backed by someone that's going to be around for a while? And we're owned by Aegon, who is one of the few companies in the world that's too big to fail. They're located in Holland, and they're one of the largest financial services companies in the world. They own Transamerica, which was founded in 1905 by the Bank of Italy people. Their Bank of America came out of Bank of Italy, and Transamerica came out of Bank of America. It's now an independent organization from the Bank of America, but it is owned by Aegon. Transamerica owns the World Financial Group, which is the largest insurance marketing organization in the country. Give you an idea how big World Financial Group is. In the last 12 months, it paid out $1.2 billion in commissions. So a lot of money was being made. That means a lot of families were being helped. But Aegon backs up Transamerica, backs up World Financial Group. In fact, Aegon just put in $150 million into World Financial Group to make sure the back office is up to date and can handle all the growth that we experience. We're actually part of WealthWave, which is a unit of part of World Financial Group. The nice thing about WealthWave is they create some great marketing materials, and all our emails and and our marketing material comes through WealthWave, including, most importantly, the book How Money Works. We'll talk about in just a minute. As part of the World Financial Group, we represent over 200 A-rated carriers. Everest, Nationwide, Pacific Life, Transamerica, Voya, Crump. We have use AMS for annuities. We have annuities through Athene, through Global Atlantic. We have enough products. We have over 400 products all under one platform, and we can get appointed with any of those through World Financial. It's not a big deal to get appointed. But the nice thing is we can find a solution to meet the needs of the clients. Some are different. I mean, with one of our clients, one of the companies we use is Symetra. Symetra actually is very, I don't want to say lenient is the right word, but if you have cancer and you've been away off cancer for 3 to 5 years, you can get a policy with Symetra without having a terrible rating on it. So we have the products to make this solution. So we have a system, we have the solution, we have the carriers, but what about the leads? What about the leads? In all the years I've been selling, this is the number one question. Now, this may surprise you. We don't look for insurance leads. We look for people who want financial help. I had a call today from a guy that wanted to sell me a service on insurance leads. He said, look, you come part of this service here, so everything is done automatically, and then you'll get a call from someone and they're ready to buy something. Okay, right. I looked him up. He's appointed with 2 carriers, and so can't be doing too much good. But there are a lot of people out there with lead generations, and do they work? Don't know. Some of them are very expensive. I know some of them are as much as $80, $90 a lead. Those are probably pretty good leads. There's others out there $1 a lead. Those are called age leads. They don't work. I know some people that work them, and maybe they can work for some people. We don't buy leads. We don't sell leads. We show you how to get leads. And we use the book, How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker. And I'll tell you right now, if you'd like a copy of the book, Ryan, I believe you have one. I'll be happy to send it to you. And if you'd like a copy of the book, it's a great book. It's been vetted by over 250 television stations across the country. CNBC created an article where they went there. The authors of the book were Tom Matthews and Steve Siebold were part of WealthWave. They've been on TV stations all over the country. They were on CNBC. The CBMC took it and tore the book apart and wanted to find out if it was real or not. And they actually wrote an article about how good the book is and how it can help people. But we also do something different. We don't just give people quotes. We actually we'll take the book. There's 7 money milestones in the book, and we'll walk a family through the 7 money milestones. We do this over the internet and get their answers to their questions. We find out where their income is, where their expenditures are, what they have saved, we want to find out what their long-term and short-term goals are. And then we give them an 18-page report that can lay out how they can, where they want to be, where they are now, where they want to be, and how to get there. If insurance shows up in that, we'll offer them insurance. We don't tell them whether they have to take it from us. If they want to go and shop the quote, they can. But we think that we make ourselves enough different that they will end up taking it from us. We have a lot of our products have living benefits. What are living benefits? Living benefits, you can, if you get cancer, heart disease, stroke, or diabetes, and there's chronic and critical illnesses. And if you have one of those chronic or critical illnesses, you can actually draw against the face value of a product. Say that I had a $500,000 product. In fact, I had a client that had a $500,000 term policy from Transamerica with living benefits. She got breast cancer, and she was able to take $400,000 to carry her through the time. Unfortunately, several years later, she passed away, but she was not poor and it wasn't destitute during that period of time. She actually had the money she needed. We also have, for people that are looking to build retirement income, we have IULs. And this is very interesting. According to the Federal Reserve, 22% of IULs are owned by the wealthiest 1% of people in the country. 55% of policies are owned by the wealthiest 10%. And question is, what do advisors to the wealthiest 10% don't know that we know, that your CPA doesn't not know? Here's what an IUL does. An IUL has no downside, only has upsides. In fact, with Transamerica's IUL, even if the market is flat, you get 0.75% increase, that's greater than you get in the savings account these days. But IULs are a great way to save for retirement. And the living benefits in both the IULs and products were not available 25 years ago. There are also options in here that cover long-term care and living benefits. Long-term care is a big, big deal. I have friends that have long-term and spouses in long-term care, and there's a lot of different types of long-term care. There's what's called indemnity, and there's called reimbursement programs. And the indemnity program is probably better than the reimbursement. But again, there's pros and cons of both, and we have products that handle both, and we can train people on that. But the biggest fear of people getting older, and I'm one of them, is running out of money before they die and have to move in with their children. And I know people have sold their houses in California and moved to somewhere that's cheaper just so they wouldn't, because they had a lot of equity in their house. And house equity is kind of worthless. You sit there and you have $500,000, or I know people have $1 million equity in their house. What can they do with it? Particularly if they're not working, they can't refinance at that level. Maybe they can get a reverse mortgage, but that's a problem. We help people solve these problems. We also use social media very extensively for our marketing efforts. First off, you're not limited to a geographical area. Your territory is anywhere there's an internet connection, everywhere there's a cell phone connection, and your office can be anywhere there's an internet connection. I know people that have sold their house and they bought RVs, and they're going to become travelers. In fact, it's a big industry. There's a organization in South Dakota for travelers. They give you an address, a mailing address, and if you want to, you can actually become a citizen of South Dakota. You do have to go there once a year, spend one night, and all your mail and everything can come through South Dakota. It's a big business being travelers. Travel around, go to RV parks, and spend some time wherever they want to. They can spend the summer in the north part of the country and spend the winter in the south. And they know a storm's coming, they move to a different part of the world, different part of the country. And that's something very doable with what we have. Again, social media is where our main action is. I maybe remember going to chamber mixers. In fact, I was an ambassador of the Oakland Chamber for quite a few years. You go to mixers and you meet people and pass out not credit cards, business cards. I'd love if someone gave me a credit card at a mixer. Pass out your business cards and literature, and hope it doesn't go in the garbage can when people leave. But LinkedIn particularly is a very great way to meet people and talk with them and communicate with them either through messaging or actually online or in person, and learn about what they're doing and maybe find someone that can be a lead out of that. We have a proven online business system, and this is the key. One of the things that Chris did when he was at Primerica, he developed a system, and people can understand why he was doing so well. But he had a very structured system, and that's the system we have with Virtual Financial. We start off with we have 6 different tiers to the system. We move people through the tiers, and we have scripts all the way along to help them along. It's a very, very simple system to follow, as long as you follow the scripts and follow the system. People that follow the system can do very well with us. If people don't want to do it their own way, they're going to run into problems. But if you follow the system, you can be successful. But again, the key is following the system. Our objective is this: we bring somebody in. Typically, they're over this is the cash flow quadrant from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. When you're on the left side of the quadrant, you're an employee or you're self-employed, you have a job or you created a job, and you have no leverage or you have very limited leverage. I mean, when you're on the left side of the quadrant, you're trading hours for dollars. Where we want to move people is to the right side of the quadrant, over to the business owner side, where you have people working for you and helping you, and you're working off of other people's efforts. It's kind of like a real estate broker will go and he'll open an office, or she'll open an office and hire hire people to come and work under it. We work under exactly the same approach as a real estate broker works. And ideally, you can come to the point you're an investor. And that's really what makes another thing that makes us different. And our system does work. It actually kind of started with A.L. Williams. If you want to go back that far, A.L. Williams was not a fan of any of the people who were in the insurance business back in the day when he started off. But there's 3 options to get started. You can just become a client. We'll send you a book. We'll do a needs analysis for you and send you a report. And you can either buy something with us or look at what your options are. You can start part-time. We're the champions of part-timers. You don't have to quit your job. In fact, some people can stay in the insurance industry, particularly if they're in the property and casualty. We do not sell property and casualty. If you want to just sell health insurance, that's fine. We do have a couple of health insurance clients we can be part of, but we're not a health insurance organization. Or you can become full-time. You can build a business without limitations as big as you wish. You can take advantage of a wide variety of our incentives. And we do have a fourth option that is fairly recent. You can be just a referral agent. This is particularly good for people that are health insurance agents or P&C agents. Basically, they introduce us to myself or a financial professional to one of their clients. We send them the book. We do all the work with them. Once the introduction is made, you step back out of the picture. We do everything else, and if a sale is made, you get a nice part of the commission. On average sale of an average size product we sell, around $1,000 commission for doing very little work. So that's it. Our next steps we have. If you want, I'll be happy to mail you a copy of the book. Just send me your mailing address and your phone number, and I'll get a copy right out in the mail. Or if you'd like to talk, text me or email me, and we're happy to chat. Here's my contact information if you don't have it. I'm in Northern California at 510-909-5899, or that's my email address, lounayo@wealthwave.com. And I do respond to my emails. I do respond to my texts. You can also email me on LinkedIn, and I'm starting to do a better job of following up on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn gets so many messages there, sometimes it's hard to keep up on. That's all I have. If you have any questions, happy to, you can raise your hand and I'll answer them, or we can go on living the rest of the week and have a good weekend. That's all, folks.